probably aware, hopefully most of you are aware, we did very respectfully ask you guys not to do any flash photography or any video during this Q&A. So here's what we're gonna do, because I know you gotta get it out of your system. So for the first 5 minutes of this presentation, you can take some photos, you can take some video, and then after 5 minutes, I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna very kindly ask you to stop. At which point everyone is going to
stop.
Thank you. All right, and we will be watching everybody in the audience just to make sure that everybody's playing along. We're all friends here, so we'll get it out of our system for the first 5 minutes and then just let them talk and do their thing. This is gonna be so much fun. You guys are gonna love this. We've been very fortunate to have some really cool guests come to the show. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd, I can absolutely admit it, so it's never less of a thrill for me to be able to get up here and introduce people like this to you. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let's introduce them one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jonathan Frakes.
Let's not risk it. He's going back.
He's shy. He's coming. Jonathan Frakes?
He's going the wrong way.
Is he scared of the curtain? After today, I wouldn't be surprised. Jonathan? How about Brent Spiner? Is Brent Spiner back there? Oh, I see how it is. Something tells me there's hijinks afoot here. Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Spiner. How about LeVar Burton? How about Michael Dorn? The very lovely Marina Sirtis, ladies and gentlemen. Denise Crosby. What's a Q&A without a Q? John Delancey. And the only man who is bold enough to host an event like this, William Shatner.
As your host, I feel like a lion tamer. Caged animals, you have no idea. Ask a question and they leap up and grab you by the throat. Me by the throat. So take your pictures, run your film. Somebody's going to look at you and ask you to stop. In the meantime, let's start with a question.
Excellent question, by the way. Let's ask Bill a question. Yeah.
Where are the microphones?
When you were on Brothers Karamazov,
Where are the microphones?
what was Richard Basehart really like?
No, hang on a second. Is there any way we can turn the lights on the audience so we can see you? Is that possible?
All right, well,
I didn't
thank
hear
you.
it, no.
So while you're doing that, let's proceed with the first question.
There's a hand. Yeah.
Yes.
Come on down.
This is why I asked for the lights to be put on, because we can't see a damn thing up here.
We're gonna have to be somewhere.
Okay.
Right in.
Yeah, but we can't see it.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yes, go ahead. I've lost it already. So much for the host job. It's going to be called tag-along. That's a Philippine language, you know, tag-along.
Just give me your back. Give me your back. Put it on top.
Yeah, this is a question for Michael Doran. So I heard from an alchemist that you like anime. Yes.
Full Metal Alchemist is one of my favorites.
Thank you, Samantha.
Full Metal Alchemist. Nick Manana does the voice for that. Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, not all of it. All of it's okay. My understanding was that Michael liked to give all that he had, but I didn't realize it encompassed enemies.
Oh, enemas. That's what you. Oh. Sorry, that's a different story.
What did you say? You gave Vic Mignogna an enemas?
Right into the toilet. Right where we all belong. Next question.
Hi. It's well known that the Next Generation cast gets along really well.
Turn the effing lights off!
It's well known that the cast gets along really well, but can you give us the real dirt and tell us who doesn't like who?
That's a strange question.
You know, you know
We
what?
all get along well, but who doesn't like who?
Yeah.
I don't care for you. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Okay. No, really, I can accept that. You know, but the thing is that I have always cared for you, and yeah, I know, and the affection has never been returned. He's always nice to everybody else, invites everybody else to his house for parties and for dinners, and he never invites me.
Well, no, but
That's okay.
yeah, but everybody likes me. And nobody likes you. I don't like you. Oh. I used to like you. Do you like him? I love him. Well, then, good news. You can go to his parties. I hate your parties. Well, there you asked.
Well, actually, I'll put it in one sentence.
Sure you will.
Well, two sentences. They know me so well. You know me so well. Have any of us written a book? No. There will never be a book. There is not a single publisher on the planet who wants a story that says, we loved each other. They want dirt, and there is no dirt. That's the truth. There is no dirt on from our show. As opposed to the other show. Okay. But that was the only thing providing light.
The thing is, there was a great deal of controversy in the first couple of years that the Next Generation was in production. Why didn't we get them to talk about that? Because with that controversy about how the scripts were written and who was doing what to whom, there must have been some of you who thought, I should do more, or I should do less, or why aren't I doing that? Wasn't there anybody?
Well, I always felt I should have my own ship.
There's the Enterprise, and then there'd be Data's ship. That's right alongside.
You prevented me from having my own ship.
Yes, I did.
But Bill, you know,
Yes, I did.
when you get a series, you always worry when you're not in the episode a lot, because you think, you're not needed or you're not appreciated or whatever. Come the second or third season of 18-hour days, You actually read a script and go, oh, thank God, I'm only in one scene in this episode. Really, because you'd want to get some sleep. So we didn't really have any of that. To be honest.
I mean, I think that the first and second season, I mean, I think all of us were, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but I'll speak for everybody at the same time. I think that, yeah.
What else is new?
Turn your cameras on.
Calm down. Calm down, you big old...
It's that Klingon aggression in there.
Little piece here.
When you realize
We love each other.
that Michael Dorn, like not on stage or on camera, is the mildest, the meekest, the most enigmatic person that you can imagine. And he missed his daily enema, I guess.
Donnie, where's your inner tranquility, baby? Inner tranquility, okay.
No, I think that the first, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where I think that all of us came from an area of, we were working, we had a job. It's the first time in a long time that we're actually a steady job where, you know, it was like a steady paycheck and you didn't have to audition all the time, and we were just sort of like going great. And all the controversy that people talk about, I don't think we were really part of it. We were just working and trying to get our jobs right, trying to get the
You
character.
were.
A more objective view.
I didn't say anything. It wasn't me. That was Delancey.
That's exactly what I was doing. A more objective view is John Delancey. Watch it. And Denise Crosby could be passive aggressive, isn't that so?
What?
See what I mean?
Wait a minute, you guys had parties?
Jonathan does.
We've never had a party.
LeVar, those beautiful limpid eyes.
Limpid.
They're not bloodshot today, so I'm wondering what happened.
Shad, I'll tell you. If I may call you Shad.
We're gonna call you Shaq. That's your nickname.
Not in front of Michael Dorn.
Well, my eyes are not bloodshot today, Bill, because we drank champagne last night.
Did you?
Yes.
Where?
And apparently champagne doesn't have that same effect.
No.
Good to know.
Yeah. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Where did you drink champagne last night?
Well, the lovely Jewel State. We went out to dinner with the Firefly people last night. And I made Nathan sit opposite me so I could look at him all night. And the lovely Jewel State bought the booze last night, champagne and excellent red wine. And she picked up the tab too for the wine and champagne, yeah, so we love Jewel State.
Well, we didn't. We sat there liquorless. Not you. John Delancey. John Delancey. You know, John is this wonderful, regal figure, handsome. You know what he's doing after this is over?
My
He's
Little
going sailing the North Pacific with just one other person. He and somebody else. And who that other person is, I don't know. But he's sailing the Pacific.
She works at Hooters.
John, what did you see as you would come in and out on the, looking at the regular cast of The Next Generation? What did you see? What did you observe as an actor looking at other actors?
Let's get back to the fart jokes. What did I observe? I guess my first memory is actually of Denise.
Oh.
The first day I arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning coming in from Japan, Denise was there. We were standing across from each other. How do you do? How do you do? And then all of a sudden everybody's on Denise because they're blowing paraffin,
Hot paraffin.
hot paraffin onto her face. And then we started talking, so how are you doing? She's going, I'm really okay now, but I can't move my face. And then that was my first expression, or my first impression.
Was she being canned?
Why?
She was being iced. I go, she starts talking and I go, oh, shut up.
I thought they were firing.
And nothing's changed.
I thought they were firing her and they were canning her with
No.
paraffin on the top of the jar.
We were only just beginning. That was the beginning of the beginning.
That was the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah.
Why did you have paraffin on your face?
Well, Q was showing his magic and was icing me, freezing me for speaking. I was in the penalty box.
So they used paraffin to.
Hot paraffin, can you imagine them?
I mean,
No.
they could have been arrested. They probably should be arrested, you know? I mean, I don't think that was really
You have an
legal.
action.
I think, yeah, right. I can.
I've heard of hot wax being sensual.
Actually, you know, it's some women pay a lot of money to have that procedure done.
I know.
And
Well,
they were paying me, you know, a lot of money well, not a lot of money.
Not a
Let's
lot.
be honest.
You're not going to get any sympathy from this crowd.
That's true. Sorry, yeah. They were paying me something
Yeah.
to get hot wax.
Our bus fare and our lunch money, yeah.
Lunch? You had lunch?
I had lunch, you didn't get
I
lunch?
had tomatoes and cremora.
Oh my God. What is cremora?
Oh, and I'll give you one more, and then I'll shut up. I remember the other my other impression was that I come in on a chair, and somebody was whatever they were rigging the chair, and they were doing it, and the chair was coming in and it was doing this, like this. It was. I just began thinking, this is not a very high-end show.
No, yes. Right.
All right, next question. Someone's got a mic?
Yeah, hi. Oh, okay. First of all, I want to say, Levar, thank you so much for doing the Reading Rainbow.
Would you sing the Reading Rainbow theme for us, please?
Is there a Shriners convention in town?
Yeah, hey, Ray.
He said that Fez all day. Could you sing the Reading Rainbow theme for us?
If everyone else does at the same time.
Yeah, that's the plan.
There you go, God. Come on.
Open up book. Wait, hold on. How does it start? She knows the song.
Here we go.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, Reading Rainbow.
I just want to ask. You sounded just like Petula Clark.
Did Petula Clark sing it?
Yeah.
I love Petula Clark.
I love Petula Clark too.
I met Petula Clark.
Do tell.
I did. I met her. You remember Petula Clark? Downtown. Remember Petula Clark? No, you're all too young. You don't remember Petula Clark. But I met her at the Ivy when I was having dinner with Patrick one day, and I had a fangirl. I really did.
La-di-da.
But she was a fan of us too. Yeah, she knew who I was, which always amazes me. But she was a big fan of the show.
LeVar, does the rainbow thing need explaining to some of the audience who might not know what
Oh no, everybody knows who.
everybody knows?
Is there anyone who doesn't know what Reading Rainbow is?
No.
Okay, 4 people.
Could someone explain it to the chat?
You're so bad. Your bloodshot eyes looking at me. No, I understand the very much. It's beautiful.
Just another one of our shows you haven't seen, Bill.
Oh, this young lady said we wouldn't have a show without him.
That's the truth. Shatner's the Godfather.
Wait, you have a question?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can ask it, but that's okay.
That's okay, go ahead and ask
I was
it.
going to ask everyone, I guess the Shat included, but I call it Shat. Okay. Why did all of you choose to become actors? What made you want to become actors?
Oh, there's a question. Let's go down the line.
Well, mine, I'll make it very, very quick. I was very dyslexic. I didn't know how to read. I had a very difficult time in school. I flunked out. I flunked a grade. I was thrown out of a couple of schools and what have you. And my teacher came in the last school in which I was in the 6th grade, and he said, you're going to play Henry V, and you have 2 months to learn it. And I went home and I started to read it. It was really difficult for me to read, and even more so to memorize. I did it, and there was a teacher, or a person there who ran the Pelican Shakespeare's. He had come to see his granddaughter, and he took my father aside, and I was 14, I guess, and he said, if your son has an interest, you should encourage him because he has a flair for acting.
There you go.
Then I decided to learn how to read.
Denise, you come from a distinguished family. How did it happen with you?
Well, I did everything I could to run from this profession because of that very reason. I wanted to be find my own path in this life. But at the end of the day, it really is all I really know how to do, quite honestly. And enjoy it and love it, and it's given me a great life.
I always wanted to be an actress from the age of 3. I knew I wanted to be an actress, and I used to, get on the bus with my mom and stand on the seat and sing "Que Sera, Sera" to the other passengers. Yes, I was an obnoxious child. And my parents, of course, were Greek, so when I said I want to be an actress, they heard I want to be a prostitute. And,
so you did both?
And so I did both. Yeah. But no, I always knew what I wanted to do, and I actually now feel I was really blessed because I meet so many kids who finish college and still don't know what they want to do. So I feel really lucky that I knew at an early age what I wanted to do.
Before you begin, I was admonished by the mass of the cast that when we got a general question like that, we shouldn't go down the line and get everybody's story. So let me say, I understand what you said to me before we came on stage. Let's do this question because it's so interesting down the line, and in the future, any general question, I'll cut that off after 2 or 3, and then we'll do another question, we'll do the other 3 or 4, we'll make it work. Okay, so but go down the line here. Michael, what about you?
Well, I was always sort of in entertainment. I was in music for a lot of years, and when I went to college, I went for radio and TV producing and directing. And in the process, once again, a long story short, when I got in the business, it was to be a director, and I was steered into acting from this show that I worked on. Everybody said, Michael, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I went back to school, went back to acting school, and fell in love with it. And decided to stick with it until I was able to get a directing slot. And 27 years later, I finally got a directing slot. So, and that's how it happened, and I absolutely love it. But the one, like Ray said, it's one of those things that it's in your bone. I mean, I always was on stage, and performing, and like I said, in rock bands and music and stuff. So I always loved being on stage, and it was one thing that that I really felt the same way when you hit that note in music, or that that gig that you're playing where everything gels really well. It's one of the best feelings. I mean, you just, just a real quick thing. There was a couple of times when I was playing music where we all were gelling at one point, and all of a sudden we just stopped because it felt so good. We just went, oh my God. And acting is the only thing that gave me that same feeling. When you're working with an actor or you're working with somebody that you love, and you're just going, oh my God, and it's going really well. And so,
Was it like that with Eric Estrada on Chips?
He'd have hit me for that.
Yeah, there were moments on Chips when we stopped what we were doing and said, oh my God.
Or when Eric was banging some extra in his trailer, I suppose. Was that my outside voice? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean extra, I meant atmosphere. Sorry, they're not extras anymore.
Yes. 1972, I was in my second year in the Catholic seminary and decided not to become a priest. And yeah, right. Yay for not becoming a priest. And it was really a matter, it was one of those bathroom moments. I mean, perhaps you can relate. Some of the most important thoughts I've ever thought have been thought in the bathroom.
I think that goes for Michael Dorn.
TMI.
But I was looking in the mirror and figuring out, well, so now what? I had wanted to be a priest since I was about 7 or 8. And I was, the school I attended had a very sophisticated theater department, and I really enjoyed that. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I was very pudgy as a kid. My nickname was Poppin' Fresh, the Pillsbury Doughboy. But I had grown that summer a few inches, and I thought, you know what? I love acting, and I think I can do this. So it was September of 1972.
Thank you, Poppin.
That was a big mistake, Lamar.
Yeah. We've known you a long time.
You're going to regret this.
There aren't many news stories. But we've never heard Poppin' Fresh before.
Oh, new material.
Love it. I went to high school in Houston. Here in the great state of Texas. And it was a time when there was almost no air conditioning in the schools. In fact, there was hardly any air in that era. So long ago. But the drama room was air conditioned. And seriously. And for 1 hour a day, I could escape the heat. If you've been in Houston, it's so humid and hot, and there was one room in the school that was air conditioned. There was the drama room. So I took drama, and it turned out I had a great teacher. And he inspired me, and his name was Cecil Pickett. He was a great man, a great teacher, and it's so important, really, to have a great teacher. Teachers are so under-respected, and in all the difference in my life, I'm sure, Poppin, you had the same experience. But no, really, that was it. And so he sort of acknowledged me in a way I hadn't been acknowledged before. That gave me a sense of that I had something to offer, and that made all the difference in my life. And here I am today, amusing all of you.
I was a
psychiatry major at Penn State, and I'd signed up to usher a production of Arthur Coppett's Indians, so I could get into the theater for free. The director of the show, who was my ticket, whose name is Richard Edelman, became a mentor. Gave me more. He said, "You're a tall guy. How would you like to be in this show? All you have to do is sit on the stage and play drums while the Indians, Arthur Coppett's Indians, dance." I said, "Sounds great." So I started to rehearse. It was a company from New York, and I saw what the lifestyle was like. I saw what the people were like, and I saw what the sort of creative process was like. And I changed majors, and I had Richard Edelman and Archie Smith and Manuel Duque with three of the best acting teachers, directing teachers, mentors, and my whole life changed. There you have it. There you go.
All right, so we've got a thumbnail sketch of everybody up on the dais here. Next question.
Out of all the roles you've played, which one has stuck with you the most?
Stuck.
Riker. Riker.
Riker.
We're going with Riker.
Kunta Kinte.
I think we'd all say the parts that we played on TNG, pretty much. We played them the longest of anything we've ever played, so I think that stays with you because we played it the longest. It would be weird if it was something else, actually, I think. Don't you? Where are you anyway? I'm looking in, I don't know where the hell you are. Where are you? You know, no one listens to me. How long ago did I ask for the lights to be turned on?
The lights are on.
They are?
Yes.
I have a tumor. Oh, thank you. They must be those energy-saving lights. It takes about 30 minutes for them to warm up. Okay.
What are you talking about? The lights came on half an hour ago. Are you all right, darling?
No, I can see people way in the back, but I can't see kind of to the middle. Okay. Maybe I do have a tumor. Okay. Next question.
Denise, were you going to answer that?
No. Oh, wait a minute. Denise didn't play Tasha as long as we played our part. So maybe you have a different answer, you and Delancey. Go on then. Q.
You got something to add to that?
Well, I would say probably Q is the tomato that has stuck on the wall longest than all the others. So, yeah.
The tomato?
The tomato stuck on the wall. I like that.
That's an old one.
I like it too.
I've always thought of it that way.
He doesn't know whether he was an apple or a vegetable. I mean, okay. Next question.
Yes. Mr. Shatner, I just want to say, in addition to Star Trek, I'm a very, very big fan of all the work you did on Boston Legal. Getting brains, sir. Anyway, my question was just for anybody who maybe had a really good story or memory. Do any of you have an especially lovely or just very fond memory or story you'd like to share about Gene Roddenberry?
Who wants to raise a hand, guys? Who wants to take that question?
I can tell you a story about Gene Roddenberry. There you go. Hand up first. When I was trying to get this job, I auditioned 7 times over 6 weeks, unlike certain members of the panel who were given the jobs after a couple of auditions. Because there were other actors who were better than me for Riker. Billy Campbell, Kevin Sorbo, John Delancey. Anyway, by the time I was in my 6th and 7th audition, I used to go to Gene Roddenberry's office before whatever executive at Paramount I needed to impress. And Roddenberry, all seriousness aside, believed so strongly in his vision of the 24th century that he would try to instill in me the fact that Riker was from the 24th century and the world that he lived in was be, and I quote, "There will be no hunger, there will be no greed, and all of the children will know how to read." Gene Wright.
You only had 2 auditions?
Marina, you had a bunch of auditions.
6.
How about you, John?
1.
But I had slept with Gene before.
But you, Brent.
Me?
Did they offer you the part?
Mine was just a straight offer, yeah. I didn't really have to do the tap dance. No, I had 6 auditions as well. Yeah. First 2 were for Riker.
You would have been great.
And they offered it to me and I passed.
All right.
LeVar, you were the star of the show when we started. How many auditions did you have?
I had several. I had 3 readings, and then I went to the network.
Okay, so 4. 4.
I had 4.
No, I was the last.
Oh, shut up.
Yes, ma'am. No, I was the last. It was an afterthought. The Worf character was just, you know, I mean, because I had asked or I had talked to them about, you know, being on the show, and you guys have heard this initially, and they said, no, it's already cast. We're already cast. We'll call you later. And then they called and they said, would you read for this? And I said, sure. And I came in, and I had an audition, and then 2 days later I had a second audition, and that day I went to makeup.
From the audition?
From the audition. I went to makeup, got in my makeup, and I think the next day or the 2 days after that, I was on the set and just shoved there. Didn't.
May I say, what an addition.
Did you know, Michael, did you know that you were going to have all that makeup on?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was. The interesting thing is that I think for me, I loved. Before that, there was the Elephant Man and Mask, and it was just a wonderful thing. Man, I'd love to do a part in makeup because it seems so, like a really interesting thing to do. But I didn't specify to do one part or one day or one movie. I just said I'd love to do a part. I didn't know it was going to be, every day, at 4:30 in the morning. But it was, once again, it was a real exciting thing because I love the challenge of that. It's the idea that you can make up something. You're not, governed by your exterior.
And remember that, as he said, you come in those parts that required so much makeup. Leonard Nimoy as Spock, and they come in at 4:30 in the morning every morning, sit in a makeup chair for about 3 hours, put on paint. At that time, some of it was oil-based and it smelled terribly and it affected you. And then at the end of the day, you tore it off. While it was tearing off during the day, they'd apply more glue, and it became a form of torture. Your face was raw at the end of the day, and at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the season. It was horrible. There was a burden placed on people who had to do makeup and get into this extensive wardrobe in which you had to stay all day because the shots were happening. It was torture.
I mean, the thing that people ask me about the makeup, and I said, it was tough, but putting it on was one thing, but I had such a great time doing it. I mean, you're talking about, you walk out of the trailer and we start laughing, we start cracking up, we start doing great work, and you didn't think about it until you had to take it off, and then it was torture.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Tell me about the transition from Jeffrey Hunter to William Shatner. Was that an audition offer? How did that all work?
I don't audition, John.
I was afraid that was going to be the answer.
Excuse me.
When you're in demand.
Shut, don't make me come you don't want to make me mad.
They had made a pilot of Star Trek with Jeffrey Hunter, and NBC didn't buy it for one reason or another. But they said it's such a good idea, recast. So they recast everybody except Leonard Nimoy and the part of Spock. And I was in New York, and they called me to come and see the pilot to see if I'm sorry to say this in front of you, John, to see if I'd like to play the captain. And it looked marvelous. I didn't know why they didn't buy it.
Were you on contract at Paramount? Were you a contract player? No.
No.
Were you ever a contract player?
I was at MGM for the last while.
Was that during the brothers Karamazov?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a legend.
Next question. Yes, right here. You're waving, but have you got a microphone? Yes. No.
Who's got a mic?
Yes, I do.
That's where the power is.
Out of all the advanced technology you guys got to play that was real, what are you hoping to see actually becomes real?
What was the last part of that? Where we
actually gets invented?
Oh, the beaming.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
The beaming. I would like to beam. I would.
I would like to beam.
Because you know what? I would. It's like.
Is beam a euphemism for something?
Now, when you spend as much time at the airports as we do, beaming sounds awfully good. You know, beaming would be it for me.
7 to beam up.
Transporting, who wouldn't want to transport? That's like the dream, isn't it? Go from one place to another instantly? Like,
that would be.
Dawn could be gone right now.
I would say a television that doesn't require 3 remotes to turn it on. I'd just be happy with that.
You know, dilithium power would be a good thing to have.
Why?
Well, for your teeth, yes.
Why?
Your teeth are dilithium. No, the fact that we need energy to put the lights on so that you can see the audience and not have it come from some toxic material. So that...
That's what solar power is actually, Bill. Have you heard of it?
Say that again.
Have you heard of solar power?
Solar power?
Yeah, that doesn't destroy
Yeah, but it's
planet either.
expensive.
We don't need dilithium.
Right now it's expensive and it is fringe and it will in the future be valuable.
Listen, when Star Trek started, it was fringe too, and look where we are now.
That's true.
That's all I have to say.
But
I know I'm in Texas and in the oil country, and you're all hating me right now, but it's the truth. Okay, thank you.
Next question.
All right. So I was at your booth a little bit earlier gushing about just how I'm blown away by how amazing y'all are at acting.
Are you talking to me?
Well, your line was too long.
Oh,
I was able to get to 3 others before I couldn't even get to you. So no,
I understand.
No love for you. So. But like Data in particular, I was talking to Michael Dorn, like to create someone that's not human. Like if you're on an ABC show about a nurse, you got someone you can relate to, but the acting challenges in particular for an android or a Betazoid or a Klingon, some of these things, with science fiction, you really have to step out of yourself, and it must be a real challenge. So I was just curious if in any of the Star Trek episodes in particular, if something really made you stop and think, or really have to challenge yourself to make the scene work.
Well, I like to say, for Brent.
I love when he speaks for me.
Yes, it's a real challenge for him just to rise to the level of the rest of us. And then go above that to play the android. Actually, but there was one scene where, in The Offspring, which is two of my favorite episodes, Offspring and Drumhead, which I directed. Yeah, and there's Lal, which in Hindi means Lal. Where at the end of it, after she dies, they say, oh my God, and everybody is really broken up about that. And Data goes back to the seat and he just sits there and there's nothing on his face. And that to me was the most riveting moment for Data, because everybody else is going this, and the audience kind of expects him to, maybe a little fake tear or something like that, and it was just nothing. And it was riveting. I love it.
Thank you. Actually, nothing is my specialty.
The biggest challenge for me was nothing to do with me being an alien. It had to do with keeping Marina out of Troy. Because Marina is the opposite of Troy. Troy's warm and kind and tactful and diplomatic. And Marina's loud and obnoxious. So that was the challenge for me, was making Troy Troy and not be Marina. And that was hard, because Marina's a, yeah.
Why don't...
What's that? She's the next Doctor Who. Okay. So all y'all, listen to me on this one. All y'all. There's 50 years of Doctor Who. This is 2014. There has never been a female doctor. Let's give Peter Capaldi a couple of years, right? And then it should be me. So, get out on the social media and bombard the BBC, okay? It's time. It's time they join the 21st century. Thank you.
Next question. Microphone, someone?
How's it like getting back together after all these years?
Are you assuming that we hate each other and we don't see each other?
What's it like getting back together now that the show is over and you meet every so often on stage like this? And I know you see each other socially as well, but what's it like when you meet and you trade stories, things you didn't know? For example, I didn't know that you were thinking that. How does it feel?
Well, Bill?
Well, Denise?
It's really, these guys, it's like no time has passed. I mean, we're a little rough around the edges, but, it's really feels to me like it's just, I can't believe 26 years have passed. I mean, it's kind of amazing, but it's great to check back in with everyone, and there's a great friendship, a great bond that is there, and it's always really fun.
LeVar, what about you?
I will always love these people. Nothing can ever change that. We really do enjoy one another's company, and I think for the most part, it's certainly true in my life. I don't laugh as hard with anyone else in my life as I laugh with these people. It has been one of the great blessings of my career to have known and played with these people. I like them all.
I guess you could say it's like all we meet and everything settles like it always has been. It's like you've never been away from each other. Next question.
My question's for Brent.
Yes, ma'am. My little daughter.
Aww.
Watch me do nothing.
working with Spot.
You know, I know people have heard that I did not like the cat.
The cat was useless.
Let me just say this. Spot was, well, there were 3 Spots at different times. All three of the worst actors I've ever and temperamental, constantly saying things like, "Can we turn the lights up here?" No. Seriously. Spot was, I don't know if you have cats, but the cats are not like dogs. You go, and they don't do anything. And the writers knew that, well, whenever we had a day on the set with Spot, it was a very long day because Spot couldn't do anything that was in the script. And
it's funny, they write it expecting the cat to go, "Oh, this is a good scene. Yeah, I get it."
And they write really difficult